China has put a hold on a proposal by India and the US to designate Pakistan-based terrorist Sajid Mir as an international terrorist. Sajid Mir is a US designated terrorist and the main handler of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks. China has put a hold on the Lashkar chief commander's UN terror designation after Islamabad detained and sentenced him for 15 years under terror financing charges earlier this year.
China has consistently defended its client state Pakistan in the United Nations. The country, being the close ally of Islamabad, has always created hurdles for listing of non-Pakistani terrorists. Recently, Beijing voted India and the United States' bid to designate Pakistani terrorist Sajid Mir as the global terrorist under the 1267 Al-Qaeda Sanctions Committee. Mir is India's most wanted terrorist and the main handler of the 26/11 Mumbai attacks, which shook the entire world. China has put a hold on the Lashkar chief commander's UN terror designation after Islamabad detained and sentenced him for 15 years under terror financing charges earlier this year. In June this year, Pakistan informed the global watchdog that Mir was arrested and given a 15 years prison term earlier this year, marking a turnaround from the country's earlier claim that Sajid Mir had died some time ago. This development was reported only after Western countries mounted considerable pressure on Islamabad, which has been vying for an exit from the grey list of the Paris-based Financial Action Task Force to present proof of his purported demise.
That China has been repeatedly shielding Pakistan, especially Pakistan-backed terrorists, from being listed as a global terrorist. What is new in this case is that this was a proposal that was basically moved by the United States. On the evidence that the FBI had, the United States moved this proposal, which was of course backed by India, and it is a United States proposal that China basically has struck down. Now there are several things out here. Right now, United States has taken a particular stance on Taiwan, which China does not like. But this is entirely inconsistent with China's stand that it uses Pakistan as its proxy when it comes to disbalancing India, and indeed using terrorism as a tool to disbalance democracies, be it India, be it Western Europe, be it the United States. It's part of China's toolkit.
Beijing, going on by past pattern, typically places a technical hold on India-related proposals at the 1267 committee just before the deadline to raise objections to lapse. Earlier in June this year, India and the US jointly proposed the listing of Abdul Rahman Makki, a close aide and brother-in-law of LAT founder Hafiz Saeed, at the UN Security Council. Both countries have already declared Makki as a terrorist under domestic laws, and the US has offered a bounty of $2 million for him. But China blocked India's move at UN Security Council to shield Pak-based terrorist Abdul Rahman Makki as a global terrorist by placing a technical hold on the proposal. China, to protect their favorite colony Pakistan, has always kept doing this. It did the same thing with Jaish-e-Mohammed chief Masood Azhar. New Delhi proposed sanctioning Masood Azhar in the year 2009, but it finally happened almost 10 years later in 2019. And during this time, Beijing kept blocking India's proposal. They delayed it as much as possible. Now Beijing is doing this all over again, this time with Sajid Mir.
This is not a new thing. This started as early as 1979 when the Soviet Union actually invaded Afghanistan. That time, a lot of terrorists, militant organizations, people from Xinjiang were selected by the Chinese also to do jihad in Afghanistan. This is something that people do not talk about. Pakistan's role was overt because a lot of refugees came over to Pakistan, and that time there was some sort of a moral justification in some quarters for Pakistan to do something in Afghanistan.
Pakistan anti-terror campaign is a farce. It is designed to give the impression of progress, but behind the scenes, nothing has changed. According to US congressional report, Pakistan is home to 12 foreign terror organizations, 5 being India-centric, including Lashkar-e-Taiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed Hizbul Mujahideen. US officials have also identified Pakistan as a base of operations for numerous armed and non-state terrorist groups, some of which have existed since the 1980s. The question is, will the international community call out this farce?